Say hello to this Range Rover Sport. We're going to be spending a week living with it to see what it's like. The full name for this vehicle is 2025 Land Rover Range Rover Sport Dynamic SE PHEV. It is the plug-in hybrid. That is quite a long name for this vehicle. It has the P460e powertrain, which means 3-liter turbocharged inline-6 plug-in hybrid. I am down to 10 miles of electric range, so I should go plug it in and see what kind of fuel economy I can get this week. It's currently showing 250 plus because it's just been prioritizing driving and all electric, so it's getting infinite fuel economy essentially. This center console area actually seems kind of barren. We just have the start stop button and then our transmission selector and nothing else. We don't have like 30 buttons scattered throughout here. And then we depart in silence. All electric mode, which is not something I've experienced in a Land Rover product before. Dropping a couple packages off at the UPS store. There's the welcome puddle lamp there. The door handles pop out to greet you. We have the light up a Range Rover door sill. Don't want you to forget that you're driving a Range Rover. Good evening. I just came back from Arizona where it was beautiful, sunny, and warm to a freezing cold Michigan, and apparently we have a winter storm warning tomorrow, 3 to 5 inches of snow, possibly more, so it'll be a great opportunity to see how the Range Rover Sport handles inclement weather like that, which is a fantastic use case for one of these things, but I'm gonna miss Arizona a lot. The weather was fantastic out there. Finished running errands, went to the gym, back home now, and we are essentially out of electric range. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it in. This comes with a home charger. So there's a beeping sound it makes when you're in reverse and pure electric mode. And it has this like ethereal hum. It's a Jaguar Land Rover branded charger in some pretty fun colors of vibrate yellow. The standard, we'll plug it into a wall outlet. All right, plugged in, charging. With this wall charger, it will take 25 hours and 39 minutes to charge to full, quite slow, but let's see how many miles we'll get just leaving it parked in the garage overnight. Once I deplete the battery again, I can go try another faster charger and see what that looks like. All right, so overnight we got 40%, 20 miles of EV range. We have a full-size Range Rover behind us. You check out that digital rearview mirror. So that's the bigger brother to the Sport. So Range Rover has 4 models in the lineup. You have the full size, you have the Range Rover Sport, you have the Velar and Evoque. That is in descending order of size and price. The point of the Range Rover Sport's always been to be a slightly less expensive, a little more compact, and slightly more sporty version. Now, we used to get the SVR, which was pretty awesome. I always loved the SVR Range Rover with the supercharged 5-liter V8, but they've gotten rid of the SVR branding for some reason. For example, the new Land Rover Defender high-performance version isn't a Defender SVR, it's the Defender Octa. And for the Range Rover Sport, there's like this SV edition, whatever they call it now, and they also got rid of the supercharged V8. The top tier model now has a BMW sourced 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. So RIP to the Jaguar Land Rover supercharged V8. That was a phenomenal engine. The noise, the personality, when most of the other options out there were turbocharged, having a supercharged engine just had a different feel to it, and I did really enjoy that engine. Now this one here, like I mentioned, is the 3-liter turbo inline-6 plug-in hybrid. There's mild hybrid options. I'm gonna have to look at my notes to read out all the different powertrain configurations, power levels, because it's literally like 8 or 9 different combinations and power levels, and my brain cannot memorize all of those. Out running some more errands. The snow has started to fall, but it's nowhere near as bad as they said it was gonna be. And look who decided to join us. Hi, Angel.
Hi.
First time in a Range Rover, right?
That is correct. Although I've been in the Defender, which is a Land Rover.
Yes.
Right, hon?
Slightly different.
Slightly different, but kind of similar in terms of like design elements, I feel like, right? Although I think this is really cool. This armrest, it makes me feel like I'm sitting on a plane. You know what I mean? I don't really understand the functionality of this, to be honest,
Because there's a center console?
I mean, yeah, exactly. So what's the point of this?
Ooh, finally, we got that snow that we were promised. And we are charged to 76%, 38 miles of range, and that's just plugging into a regular wall outlet. First time I've seen the unplowed road reported on Google Maps, but not a problem. Range Rover. The roads aren't bad at all, although that U-Haul is struggling. Oh boy. Well, this thing was kind of clean because I had it parked in the garage, but now it's getting covered in salt and snow. I'll go ahead and throw my gym bag in the back. As befits a Range Rover Sport, we have 23-inch wheels. Those are pretty massive. Obviously not the most off-road focused. Door handles pop out when you unlock. They're usually flush for better aerodynamics. And there's some pretty cool materials on the inside. I'll do a proper exterior and interior tour later on, but like this is like a neoprene kind of squishy, like memory foam neoprene. I actually like this quite a lot. And of course we have leather, and the doors have this interesting kind of cloth feeling, rough texture. So that's definitely cool. Now this is less ideal. This screen has a little bit of wiggle to it. Can you hear that? It like jiggles a little bit. I noticed like, 'cause I was pressing the corner or something, I felt it move a little bit. I was like, that's not good. Land Rover certainly gave us a lot of different powertrain options for this latest generation Range Rover Sport. This one specifically is the P460e. It is the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, has a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6, total power output 454 horsepower and 487 pound-feet of torque. But there are so many other different power levels and engine combinations available. You know how sometimes you look at a car and it's got 1 or 2 different engines, maybe 1 or 2 different power levels? That's not the case for the Range Rover Sport. I went through line by line on the configurator to check out the different trims and different engine combinations, powertrain combinations, power levels. I'm gonna have to look at my notes right now. You'll understand in a moment why. So, the entry-level Sport SE is the P360 gas-mild hybrid that makes 355 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And then you go to the Sport Dynamic SE like this one. So the base powertrain is the P400, still the gas-mild hybrid. That's the 3-liter inline-6. It makes 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, just a bit more power and torque. Now this one, the P460e, is the plug-in, 454, 487, and then you can get a P530 mild hybrid. That goes up to the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 that's sourced from BMW, 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. And then you step up a tier to the Autobiography, a bit more luxurious. That one also has the P530 mild hybrid, 4.4 twin-turbo V8, 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. But you can also do the P550e PHEV. So that is the 3-liter inline-6 plug-in hybrid, but when you're in the Autobiography, it's 543 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. And then at the very, very top, we have the Sport SV Edition 2. So they had like the first edition, now this is Edition 2. And that also has the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's a mild hybrid, but that's a P635, which means it makes 626 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. So that's a lot of different P and then numbers for the power levels. There's mild hybrids, there's plug-in hybrids, there's V8, there's the inline-6, and even within like the 3-liter inline-6 plug-in hybrid, there's different power levels. Pretty much, if you want something in the 300s, the 400s, the 500s, or 600 horsepower range, you have an option with the Range Rover Sport. In terms of exterior styling, I would say this new generation of the Range Rover Sport just slightly tweaks the previous one. Still very familiar, just a little bit more sleek and sporty, like the front headlights and DRLs. They're apparently the slimmest ever put on a Range Rover. And then the lettering up front has this graphite finish, and as a dynamic model, we have a slightly tweaked front fascia and these satin burnished copper accents. Down here on the front bumper, the lower splitter area, and then also on the hood and sides there. So that's how you can tell it's a dynamic model. We have the 23-inch gloss black wheels, which befits the look of a Range Rover Sport. Also the black roof. This paint is getting a little bit salty and dirty, but it's called Charente Gray. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a brownish gray. It's really overcast right now, so it's not like the sun is really showing it off, but nice, classy, subtle spec. And I like the little like rose gold copper accents. And again, just immediately familiar as a Range Rover. It's very sleek. Apparently the coefficient of drag is 0.29. The door handles will retract when it's locked and driving for the flush look and a little bit more slippery. And also apparently this is the longest spoiler ever put on a Land Rover. This extends back here again for more aerodynamic optimization. And then the back we just have salt from winter, but Range Rover in the matte graphite lettering Sport. You have the split exhaust tips here, so even though it is a plug-in hybrid, we have that gas-powered turbo inline 6, and you still have the split exhaust tips. Taillights are a little bit more sleek looking too. Cool design. But as you see, as we walk around, immediately recognizable as a Range Rover Sport, just a little bit sleeker and modern to be updated for this latest generation. We're heading to downtown Detroit to go to Le Supreme. Oh yeah, you can speak French. Although in the calendar invite, I'm pretty sure you wrote it as La Supreme.
It was probably autocorrected.
The French are very upset right now at La Supreme. We heard good things about this restaurant. And we're heading there in the Range Rover Sport. Do you feel bougie?
Yes, very bougie.
A little bit fancy. It's a nice car, right?
It's a beautiful
very
car.
smooth. We're in hybrid mode right now, but it's like smooth, comfortable. The air suspension is really nice too. Like, these are nice.
Not bad.
These are very, very nice. So this started happening the first night I got into this Range Rover. Like, CarPlay is just randomly disconnecting. It's not happy. I don't know. Our music stopped. And it just kept like pairing and unpairing. I was on the phone with you, remember? Mm-hmm. And it just kept like disconnecting, reconnecting. So I'm not sure. Can I CarPlay again, please? Welcome to downtown Detroit, the nation's highest pothole per capita. Some parking garages are so confusing. I came out of an elevator right there, but I couldn't get to this level. I had to go like all the way around, but I did find the Range Rover again. It was weird because I could just literally see it parked right here. We have a little bit of a welcome animation. Those little segments lit up. Like I could see the Range Rover from right over there, but I'm like, how do I get to this level? Parking structures. Always so confusing. Well, CarPlay is working again, which is, never, I spoke too soon. Really? Literally as I'm filming. Come on. Ugh. Shouldn't be my phone. I have a 15 Pro Max. Like, it's reconnecting. There we go. It's back again. So CarPlay, see, this is what I mean. It's just like randomly intermittent. Shouldn't be my phone. 15 Pro Max, still latest update. Oh boy. Anyways, I actually like this EV experience in the Range Rover. Just smooth, torquey, quiet. We finished our dinner at Le Supreme and coming back around to pick up Angel because it's cold and snowy out. Dinner, what do you think, honey? Was it good?
I thought it was very good. I liked my dish.
You had rabbit?
I had the rabbit.
My favorite was there was this like mushroom tart that was like a super flaky pastry that was delicious. We got the beef tartare, we got pate, we got pate. Which when I was like, "Do you want to try the pate?" Angel was like, "Pad Thai? You think they have pad Thai?" I was like, "At a French restaurant?" That was funny. That was
my
adorable.
First reaction. That's what it sounded like you were gonna say.
And your French onion soup was good, right?
That was very delicious.
And now you're probably sleepy. We'll turn your
Very
heated seat
sleepy.
on. You can take a nap on the way home. Also, we're in the right place because sitting there, I was facing out the window, and I saw not one, not two, not three, 5 Range Rover Sports pulling up front. And weirdly, they were all sports, and they were all either the previous generation or this new generation. I'm like, oh man, we're at the right place with a Range Rover. Although we parked in the garage and they were valeting, so we're budget Land Rover people. All right, time to head home. We'll be out and about all day tomorrow doing some dress shopping for you.
For me, wedding dress shopping.
And I am going to look at a suit, so we will pick this back up tomorrow. The other day I was joking how being a meteorologist has to be the easiest, lowest pressure job because you're never expected to actually be right. They predicted 5 to 6 inches of snow the other day and we got not that much. But now today it's actually snowing pretty hard. The roads are a little bit messy, but in the Range Rover we have no problems. I'm just in everything normal right now. Comfort mode. Obviously all-wheel drive, 2-speed transfer case, and even though it's the sport model, it still has plenty of off-road capability, a lot of the tech with the all-terrain like response systems, but right now, even in all-electric mode, in this weather, it's totally fine. Like, I feel very confident, in control. Typical Range Rover experience, I guess. All right, off the line. Ooh. A little bit sideways. That's still all in electric mode. The engine did not kick in, and I gave it pretty much essentially floored it. We found a previous gen Range Rover SVR friend. Although he's not driving very quickly. Come on, buddy. You also had a Range Rover SVR. Honey, those are cool. That had a supercharged V8, and they sounded ballistic. Yeah?
Does this car not have a supercharged V8?
No, this one is the inline 6 plug-in hybrid. You see how I plug it into the garage? Yeah. This one is the environmentally friendly, polar bear friendly version. That one had a thirsty V8, but that color is really cool. I like that. Ooh, see, that's the previous one. They've slightly changed the styling.
Nice.
Goodbye, Range Rover SVR. Well, you want to see something cool, honey? So you can open the glove box with that down here. And then, ta-da!
Wow.
There's another one. There's two, which is pretty cool.
Handy dandy.
Also, this is a great girlfriend, fiance/wife test. Is the Range Rover Sport sufficiently smooth, luxurious, comfortable enough for her to do her makeup?
I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm not struggling whatsoever.
You have an illuminated mirror and it all, it's all easy, right?
We're running late for our bridal appointment, so that's why I'm doing my makeup in the car.
The more time I'm spending with this new Range Rover Sport, the more I'm liking it. The plug-in hybrid powertrain is actually quite nice. The majority of driving day to day, we're doing in all-electric mode, and I'm just charging at home on a regular wall outlet. A level 2 would be quicker. And then when you do run out of range, which we're about to, we're down to 1 mile of pure EV range, the inline 6 is going to kick on. It's got plenty of torque power. It's pretty smooth, 454 horsepower, 487 pound-feet of torque, and there's higher output versions too. But in this current configuration as a Sport Dynamic SE, I think it's a pretty good combination. And this week, with all the terrible weather, the roads have been pretty messy, this thing has been solid. That's where a Range Rover obviously going to shine, right? The Land Rover brand, some of these modern SUVs with their really advanced traction systems, the all-terrain systems. I just left it in its own like comfort mode pretty much most of the time. I'd flick between EV or hybrid mode and just went. No worries, no problems. It's pretty comfortable. The air suspension is fairly comfortable too, even on pretty atrocious roads and 23-inch wheels. Now, I was talking to my friend Preston, who's owned, I don't even want to know how many Range Rovers and Land Rovers overall. He's had multiple, I think 5 Defenders, had a couple Range Rover Sports. He did try out this new gen. He had a previous generation SVR, F-Pace SVR, Jag Project 8. That dude absolutely loves Jag Land Rover products. And he told me this new gen Range Rover Sport, he felt was more like just a slightly more compact, full-size range, much more luxurious, less of the Sport. I personally feel that the Range Rover Sport always was never the sportiest, right? Unless you went for the SVR, but I see what he's talking about. It feels just much more plush. The interior materials are definitely quite nice. We'll do a tour showing you a lot more of the details. But the driving dynamics, it feels a little more numb and isolated. And again, we're in a plug-in hybrid inline 6, which is not going to be the sportiest tuned one. There are the V8 ones. I am very curious to try out how a BMW twin-turbo V8 feels in a Land Rover. But some feedback from somebody who's owned a lot of Land Rovers. Thank you, Preston. Honey, what do you think of the Range Rover Sport?
No, I don't have as many thoughts as you do about it, that's for sure. It's a nice car. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
That's all you have to say? It's a nice car?
I mean, yeah, I think it's really nice. It's very similar to the Defender in terms of like the design elements, but again, that makes sense, right? Because it's the same parent company.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really nice. That's all I gotta say.
At $105,000 as option, I think that's what the window sticker is. It's in the back. I'll take a look later. Yeah, it definitely is pretty nice. We have a digital rear view mirror up there, which is nice. And then the steering wheel is pretty self-explanatory. It's heated. This is for the driver assistance stuff, lane keeping, your distance, adaptive cruise control. It's good. It's not the best out there in terms of hands-free, kind of that driver assistance tech. I wouldn't say Land Rover is cutting edge in that capacity. On the left side, you can go forward, back tracking, and go up and down volume. Oh yeah, so like volume, this is the physical knob. If you want to change volume here, you can swipe up and down on this, or you can tap it and then you can control it there. So a lot of stuff is all through the touchscreen. That is kind of like the theme now with a lot of these newer luxury cars. It's all in the screen. And again, I don't know, that's not good. I just went ahead and turned on all the cabin lighting with the footwell. You have on the door pockets some of the accent lighting, also across the dash, so that's pretty nice. Always enjoy some nice cabin lighting. So the built-in system is pretty good. I don't know what was going on with my CarPlay, just kind of connecting and disconnecting. Oh, we have shortcuts too, so that's nifty. You can go to our seat controls. Oh, that's just heated seats. Shortcut there. This is probably for drive modes. Yep. Okay, you can see all the different things. So once you learn the screen, it works pretty well. Vehicle will shut down to conserve energy. Press brake to continue using vehicle. Thank you very much. I do like the two-tone leather with this kind of saddle tan with the black contrast. On the doors, we have this kind of canvas, kind of more scratchy, rougher material that's really cool. And then the leather, I know it's getting dark here. Showing you the dash, the squishy. This material is pretty cool. And it's just nice stitched leather across various surfaces. And the seats, I'm still not sure why Range Rover still does this. Land Rover still does this because, like, it can come down here, but I guess if you want a lower armrest because this is too high, I would just use this. Even, yeah, Angel was confused as why we have this. I remember this being in like early Land Rovers too, ever since I've been driving these things. So if a Land Rover expert knows what these are actually for, please comment below, tell me. The seat controls are on the door. You see them lit up with the memory settings there. The Meridian speakers are actually here right behind the A-pillar. So they kind of make this window smaller. So that's one of the speakers for your Meridian sound system. And it's hard to see now, but this is all like a dark smoked chrome trim all across the dash there. It's a nice interior, like a good update. We've got the big panoramic roof there. Good enough space in the second row. So for a Range Rover Sport, again, like a not full out full-size Range Rover, I think they stepped up the interior. I am excited to spend some time with the full-size Range Rover to see what that's like, a real luxurious autobiography. But this one definitely is nice. It's just some of the tech. That's my only complaint. This screen wiggling a little bit and CarPlay just being annoying. That really pissed me off. I was trying to have a phone call and I just kept disconnecting and reconnecting and then disconnecting and then going to Bluetooth. I'm like, what is it? What are you doing? So that bugged me a little bit. But driving dynamics wise, this thing has been great. The Range Rover Sport also has some other fancy tricks up its sleeve. We have a dynamic air suspension system with switchable volume air springs. It is stiffer than the previous generation. And if you get the Stormer pack, it's like this handling package. It comes with all-wheel steering, so rear-wheel steering. I think it goes up to like 7-point-something degrees out of phase to really shorten the wheelbase. We have the electronic active differential with brake-based torque vectoring and also has active anti-roll bars to keep the body level. This one does not have that, but if you want a sportier feeling Range Rover Sport, that would definitely help. All right, the last thing I want to do is to try charging up at a fast charger. One, to see how quickly it'll charge, but two, to see what the total amount of range will be on a complete charge. So we're pretty much at empty. I did not do any preconditioning, so we're just gonna go ahead and plug in. All right, we are charging. Light is green. Let's see what this says here. An hour and 37 to full charge. Okay, maybe I won't be charging at full because I don't feel like waiting that long and I don't need to. Huh. This is the 350 kilowatt charger, but this definitely cannot take that kind of speed. Okay, that makes sense. We're only getting 33 kilowatts. That is vehicle limited. This is a 350 kilowatt fast charger, but we're obviously limited by the rate at which this vehicle can take. I am not going to sit here and let it charge to full because I do not need it. This was just supposed to be a quick little experiment, trying it out. And also hooking up a 350 kilowatt fast charger to this vehicle is kind of like, I don't know, hunting rabbits with an F-22. It's just complete, utter overkill. Let's wrap up some final thoughts on what it has been like to live with this Range Rover Sport plug-in hybrid. I'm happy it still has a proper engine. Even though it's a plug-in hybrid, it doesn't have some weak, measly little 4-cylinder that struggles to move its mass when the battery is depleted. It's got a nice powertrain. And also, the other thing that stood out was just the confidence I had. This week, we had some pretty bad inclement weather, lots of snow. There were winter storm warnings every day, and this thing handled it like a champ. I was actually, a lot of snow, the roads are messy, we're going to take the Range Rover downtown. Not a problem. That lives up to the Land Rover Range Rover badge for sure. Styling-wise, it still looks very familiar, just subtle tweaks, a little more sleek and modern looking. The interior, I like the materials design. It's pretty nice and luxurious. The tech needs a little bit of work, right? You've seen some of the issues, I've shown you that, but it was comfortable. I definitely think it does lean a little bit more towards the luxury side, not quite as sporty, especially as a plug-in hybrid. If you want the more dynamic feel, even though this is a dynamic model, I would suggest probably the Stormer handling pack, maybe one of the more powerful engine combinations, whether the V8 or the more powerful plug-in hybrid combination, or of course the SV. I don't know why they're dropping the SVR naming. I don't know if we're gonna get an SVR version anymore. Honestly, the regular SV seems to have filled that spot because it's pretty dang powerful, over 600 horsepower with the twin turbo V8. You can get carbon fiber wheels on it, so that seems pretty potent, just not an SVR anymore. But this specific one here this week was nice to live with, averaging essentially 40 mpg. Again, not worrying specifically about charging it up. I would just plug it in at home sometimes if I was leaving it overnight on the wall outlet and see what I would get out of it. But it's been a nice week living with this Range Rover Sport PHEV. I look forward to trying out the full-size autobiography to see what it's like. This one's optioned to about $106,000. How would this compare to the Cayenne, an X5, X6? What else? Maybe a Mercedes GLE? What would you rather drive and own? Comment below. Thanks for watching.